Hey guys, how's it going? Matthew Rodella here with another WaaS Wednesday video for you. Every Wednesday, I go live to the Facebook group here and answer one question that a member or user or student has asked at some point in the past. I've got a whole list of them here, and I will go ahead and answer them live on Facebook. So the question I'm going to answer today is, what's the difference between Turnkey website and a WaaS? And the name of this group is Turnkey Websites Blueprint, but then we talk about WaaS a lot. Do those two mean the same thing? What's the difference? And so I would like to address that. So that is that can be confusing, and I'll explain the origins of it a little bit. So when I first started talking about this concept, I called it turnkey websites. That was, when I was running my own, I didn't really have a name for it. And when people ask me about it, I'm like, well, it's like turnkey websites. You create a one website over and over again, and you sell it, and it's the same thing over and over again. And the definition of turnkey is basically taking something that's ready to go and providing it to a customer. So selling something that's ready to go. You don't have to set it up. You don't have to do anything. It's ready to go. It's a term that I believe came from real estate, where you would sell a house and you basically just turn the key to open the door and the house was all ready to go. So you didn't have to set it up or do anything to get it ready. It had furniture. It was decorated. It was painted. Everything looked nice. So that kind of applies to anything else. And so I applied it to websites where your platform, you give your customer a site that's ready to go. So that's kind of what I mean by turnkey is that's the technical way that we're delivering the websites in an automated fashion. So that's very specific to how I like to do it and how I teach it in the course. We use WP Ultimo, we use WordPress multi-site, and we automate as much of the process as possible. That to me is a turnkey website platform. Then throughout that process, I also described the business practice of renting out a site, kind of how I describe it as a WaaS. And I hearken and I use that term to relate it to SaaS, where you're providing software as a service. You're not giving someone a software that they can install themselves. You're providing it on a monthly basis. You're basically renting it out. This is the same with a WaaS. You're renting out your website on a monthly basis, and you're providing that website as a service on a monthly basis. So it's like they're signing up for Netflix or their cable company or their phone provider. They're paying a monthly bill to have access to your platform. So that describes more of the business model. So it's recurring revenue. It's you're renting out the website, um, and you're providing it as a service, a platform as a service, basically the website platform as a service. So that's kind of how I like to distinguish those two things. Turnkey websites is the technical idea of cloning a site, and taking a finished site and just cloning it over and over again using WordPress multi-site, WP Ultimo, and as much automation as possible. And then WaaS is the business model of selling that on a recurring basis, and providing it in a SaaS-like experience. There's some dovetailing there, right? Because the SaaS-like experience requires that easy onboarding. It requires that automation, and it requires like WP Ultimo. But with a WaaS, technically with a WaaS, you can do whatever you want with that. You can offer it, multi-tenancy. You can, just clone the same website over and over again. So that's there are multiple ways to create a WaaS. And with turnkey websites, the way I teach them specifically is uh, WordPress multi-site. So I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but I'm just trying to reiterate kind of the way I break those two up. But really, they're interchangeable terms. So I'll talk about turnkey websites, especially because the term WaaS is being used a lot in the industry now. There's companies built around the term WaaS. So I like to differentiate what I do a little bit by calling it turnkey websites. That way, it's really the specific way that we teach it here at Turnkey Websites Blueprint that makes it a turnkey website. So I'm curious to see what to hear what you think of those terms. Which one do you like better? Which one do you think captures the idea of what we're talking about here? And that'll do it for this week. So I'm trying to make these videos short, sweet, and to the point. And next week I'll see you where I will answer another of your burning WaaS questions. If you have any questions for me, go ahead and put them in the comments of this video. And then, that'll be a great, I have some listed here, but I could always use ones for the future. And if you ask one, I'll be sure to answer it the next week. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you next week for another WaaS Wednesday.